thus addressed by Gudākeśa, Hṛṣikeśa drew up that best of chariots, or Bhārata, is referring to Dhṛtarāṣṭra between the two armies. Sanjaya addresses Dhṛtarāṣṭra as Bhārata. It's an unusual thing in the Gita that both Dhṛtarāṣṭra and Arjuna are described as Bhārata, which basically means someone born in a Bhārata clan. They're both, Arjuna's in the Pandav side, Dhṛtarāṣṭra in the Kaurav side. There's a deeper meaning behind Bhārata because there's three great people in the Indian culture that are named Bhārata, and that is named after. We'll go to them in detail when it becomes very, very relevant later in the Gita, but that's the meaning of it. And also, Bhārata means an Indian. We described what Sanatana Dharma is, that it's not Hinduism. Hindu is a Persian word. The people living around the river Sindh, the Persians didn't have a letter for S, they call it H, like Asur, which means demons in Sanskrit, was called Ahur in Persian language. So Hinduism means nothing. It should be Sindhuism, but they have no H. Sanatana Dharma is that which has no beginning, because no one's been able to trace the beginning of the Rig Veda or many of the ancient Sanskrit scriptures. You can trace the Gita, it's written 5,000 years before Christ by Vyasji, and other scriptures, but you can trace the Ramayana as well, but not some of the Vedas, which are there's no dating back. And if something has no beginning, it has no end. If something is born, it can also die, but if you have no beginning, you can have no end. So Sanatana Dharma is that without beginning and that without end. So that's what we described. Just like you can describe what the Hindu is, if those of you who came to my Diwali speech, I described the 10 fundamental characteristics of a Hindu: belief in the Varna system, belief in the ashram system, worshipping cows as a mother, worshipping Vedas as a mother, so on. 10 principles. If you want the CD, contact me, I'll get a CD to you. But at the same time, there's things that describe what an Indian is, a Bhārata. We'll describe that later, but one of them is one who's attracted to noble thoughts. We'll describe that in much detail later when it becomes very, very relevant. But more importantly for this moment, the name Gudākeśa is used for Arjuna. What is Gudākeśa? Gudāka means sleep, and Isha means Lord. Therefore, Gudākeśa is Lord of sleep. Therefore, Arjuna is a conqueror of sleep. In the Mahabharata, Arjuna had gained this miraculous power where he could decide whenever he wanted to sleep, and however many hours he sleep, he would still wake up fresh. So one person who's conquered sleep is called Gudākeśa. At that time of the Gita, Mahabharata, very few people had that power, and even today, very few people have that power. But Arjuna had this power where he could get up and go to sleep at will. From reading history, I've learnt that Napoleon of France had this such special power. He'd be traveling on horseback for ages, but he could fall asleep for 15 minutes while the horse was still moving. He'd wake up after those 15 minutes and still get up fresh. So it doesn't matter, he'd get adequate sleep in 24 hours in just 15 minutes of sitting on a horse. So you can call Napoleon Gudākeśa as well. I won't say Napoleon is a best role model to follow, but in terms of getting sleep, he mastered that quality. Psychologists say that the reason for this, it's not the quantity of sleep that's important, it's the depth of sleep. Guruji has a lot of disciples who ask him, how many hours should you sleep? How many hours is it important to sleep? It's not the hours, it's the quality of that sleep. It's about the depth of sleep. The spiritual meaning of Gudākeśa is this. Arjuna is a son of Indra. We say in the Mahabharata, out of the many boons that Kunti, who's Arjuna's mother, asked for, Arjuna was asked from Indra. Arjuna is Indra's son, and Indra resides in Arjuna's mind. So when the mind is calm, then you can sleep. We all know this from our experiences. Even if all our senses are relaxed, if the mind is restless, then you cannot sleep. But if the senses, even if the senses are moving, but the mind is still and mind is calm, even if you're driving a car, you fall asleep. It's all about whether the mind is restful. So the mind is more in need of more of a rest than the body. So the spiritual meaning is that Arjuna is Indra's son, and therefore Arjuna has Indra residing in his mind. And only when the mind is at rest can you get sleep. And Arjuna has controlled his mind to make it relaxed, and hence Arjuna is called Gudākeśa.